Hello and welcome to Lemon Drops and Lap Dances. I'm your host, Lori, also known as Hypnotic. Everything I know about how to succeed in love, life, and business I learned while working in a strip club. And on this show, I tell it all. Join me as we dip our toes into hustle and club culture and learn how to win at life while we're at it. Let's get started. All right, yo, what's going on? This is Lori, aka Hypnotic, and welcome to my podcast. Yeah. Welcome to my podcast. If you've been here for the first 4 episodes, you know this is wild, and I am wild, and I just do whatever I want to do because, hey, it's my podcast. If you're new and listening, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. Yo, but really, we are on episode 5. What's up, everyone? Yes. I am so happy to be here, and I'm so happy you're here with me. And, I don't even know if I can say how much I appreciate you and how much I appreciate you just listening to me and being here. You guys are amazing, and I am so grateful. Thank you so much for tuning in week after week after week after week. This has been such a cool journey, and I'm so here for this. For this, I'm here for you and all of this. So, how has your week been? How has your week been? Blessed? Prosperous? Abundant? All of the good adjectives? Yes? And if you feel like it wasn't blessed, let me ask you a question. Let's talk about it. Are you here listening to me right now? Yeah? You can hear this? You can hear my voice? Then your week, your day, your morning, your afternoon, your evening is blessed because you are here. So you are blessed, and so is the day that you're living in right now. You're blessed. So let's take it and you do that. You have to, we have to, I have to, and I have to remind myself of this all the time. You have to find joy in the little things, in the little bitty things, because when you find joy in the little things, you can be able to appreciate the big things, the big questions, the big, oh my gosh, the big, I need this, Lord, I need this, please give me this. Those things are so much more appreciated when you're thinking about the little things like, hey, I was able to get out of bed today, go brush my teeth, eat breakfast, go get in my car, and go to work today. That's a blessing because there's people out there who cannot get up out of the bed, go brush their teeth, go eat breakfast, and then go to work. So you have to think about the things that are just the mundane things of life. The mundane things of life that we take for granted every day, those are blessings. And appreciate those, because when you appreciate those and you appreciate the little things, then you get the big things and you get to be able to appreciate the big things. And with that, let's roll into this episode. All right. So I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be super short. I'm going to say that now. I say that every week, right? I'm going to be super short. But listen, I really am. Did you guys get a chance to listen last week? If so, we deviated a little bit from the norm and talked about some stuff that was real and relevant for the moment. I've even done some soul searching, and I'm probably going to step back from that board that I was on because we are going to be moving soon. When I say soon, that means within 6 to 8 months. This Midwest journey is going to be in the past, and I'm so excited for it. Lots of options out there, but I'm really hoping that we get to move overseas again. And honestly, I really want to go to England so that my babies can have little British accents because I think that the tiniest foodie will have the cutest little accent. So that is literally on my heart, on my prayer list. Anyway, I digress. Last week We deviated from the norm. We talked about some stuff that I was dealing with and some of my friends were dealing with. And if you missed it, just go back and listen to it again because there's pretty much something for everyone in that episode. I've listened to it a couple times and I'm like, oh, yeah. Like every time that I listen to it, I can see where there's something new for even me in the episode. So, and I do listen to them a couple of times because I'm my own worst enemy and critic. But this week, we are talking about something that I have struggled with in the past. And I still a little bit struggle with this. Not as much as I did in the past, not as much as I did when I was like homeless and like just doing all the wrong things. I don't struggle with it now as much as I did then. This episode is titled A Closed Mouth Don't Get Fed. And it's true. It's true. A closed mouth does not get fed. If you see baby birds, what are baby birds doing when their mama's trying to feed them those worms? Those mouths are wide open and ready for the fulfillment they're going to get from their mom, the nourishment they're going to get from their mom when she's feeding them the worms or whatever she's gotten. So let me tell you something about me. Let me tell you a little bit about the past that I grew up with. So, in my world, growing up, you do not ask anyone for anything. That was the mentality that I grew up with. You don't ask anyone for help. You got it. You are a Black woman. You are strong. You don't ask anybody for help. Don't ask anyone for help. That was drilled into me from a very, 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 very early age. And if I'm being honest, it was probably the worst thing. In my world, growing up, you don't ask anyone for anything because then you owe them, right? You owe them. It's better to struggle than to owe anybody for anything. And that is the motto that I grew up with. So growing up like this, I assume that this was how it was and that everybody else grew up like this and that nobody really trusted anybody and that nobody really wanted to owe anybody anything. And that was just the way I grew up. Just growing up like that, I assumed this is how it was. However, after experiencing life a little bit and getting out of like whatever I was in, I understand that this was a lack mindset. This was a lack way of seeing things because everything was put on me and it wasn't about community. And if you're in a growth and an abundant mindset, then you know that community is everything. It's not what you know, it's who you know. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Community is everything. And if you're in a community and you're doing the same thing as everybody else and you're not growing, then you need to find a new community. You need to find a new circle. You need to find new people to be with. Because at the end of the day, when you're in a growth mindset and the people around you are in a growth mindset, you're all going to elevate. You're all going to elevate. And you might not elevate at the same time, but you're all going to elevate. And the person that elevates first is going to come back and make sure that all of you are elevating. And if they don't, then they're in the lack mindset and they're not going to stay there for long. So let's go back. Back it up, back it up, back it up. I grew up and I didn't ask anybody for anything. That was the law that I lived by. But it became a hindrance, really, especially in the strip club because I'm a quiet girl. I said that in previous episodes. I'm really kind of quiet. I'm not super aggressive and I've never been super aggressive in the club. However, I learned pretty quick that being quiet limited my options when I was making money, especially in a strip club. Have you ever met a quiet stripper? No. So, when you're working in a strip club, you really don't want anything to limit the cash that you end up with at the end of the night because that's your money. That is your paycheck. You're not clocking in and working on a salary or clocking in anywhere. The money that you make at the end of the night is the money that you make at the end of the night, and that's yours. So you don't want anything to come between you or your money. And it was such a struggle for me to kind of get past this don't ask anybody for anything. And that's the sad thing about this rule that I live by is because it like limited the community that I built. Um, I would be cordial. I'd be nice. I'd be, hey sis, hey, how you doing? Okay, cool, bye. Go ahead now, go. But getting into like a deep relationship, getting in deep with people to like make friends or any of that stuff was a no for me. And it was rough. Getting in deep with people meant that they would have to ask me for things. And then I would have to ask them for things. And growing up where I don't ask anybody for anything, that was like a no, no, never, 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 no, 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 no. Honestly, it took having children for me to realize that it does take a village for like things like this. So listen, case in point, my mother-in-law, God rest her soul, she's amazing. Gosh. Um, she's Greek. So I had a Greek mother-in-law. I don't know if you know anything about the Greek culture. They are a community. They are a community. There's no, you don't talk to this. No, no, no. They are a community. And so by having a Greek mother in law that forced her way into my heart, like, ooh, gosh, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. She forced her way into my heart and gave me the blueprint for living a life of service and living a life more open and abundant and free and full of joy. My mother-in-law, God, I didn't see it. And that's the thing that hurts me and haunts me every day is that I didn't see it while she was still with us. It took me losing her to see the lesson that she bestowed on me and that I'm instilling in her granddaughters and grandchildren today. My mother-in-law, gosh, I hate these episodes. Like, I hate doing this because it's forcing me to see things and reckon with things that I really didn't want to reckon with and I really didn't want to see. Like these podcast episodes, they're great, right? They're wonderful and they're full of life-giving information. But for me, it's life-giving and it's just like, holy crap, how did I miss this? How did I miss this when it was right in my face? So my advice, and I'm digressing a little bit from the topic. My advice is if you have a mother-in-law, if you have somebody in your life right now that you're very close to that's older or even not older because we don't know when they're going to go. If you have somebody that's pouring life into you, don't miss it. Don't miss it. Because I missed it and I miss it. I missed it and I miss it. So, I wrote this out, right? I wrote this out about my mother-in-law. She was such an incredible person. And she did some cool things in her life. But she gave me the blueprint for living a life that is fully living. She was like a duck, right? Everything rolled off of her, and she was just so quick to be like joyful and helpful. And she never met a stranger in her life. She literally became friends with everybody and everyone. She knew names, she knew birthdays, she was in cards. She would be just the checker at the Winn Dixie down the street from her house. She knew, and she would talk about their kids and everything. And I was in awe of that because I would never like the teller at a Winn Dixie. No, I'd be like, okay, thank you for my stuff, and I would leave. But she would have conversations with people, and it was mind boggling just by having a simple conversation with people, how much she would just she'd kind of ease, force her way into their lives. And it was amazing. And, in this generation with the millennials and the Gen Z and the Zennials, we're just not built that way. And it's so sad because if we were, our communities, our schools, our lives would be so much richer and deeper and more meaningful just by having that community. So, by observing my mother in law, by observing her, I learned that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to not know the answers. It's okay to not know it all because a closed mouth doesn't get fed, right? It's okay to put yourself out there. It's okay to be fully present in your relationships, whatever they look like. Hey, go to the Piggly Wiggly and talk to that checker because you never know what you're going to learn out, right? You never know what you're going to learn about somebody. They may be one of the most amazing people you've ever met. They may study marine biology and they may write books, and you don't even know that because you haven't taken the moment to have the conversation, to dig deeper in somebody else's life and dig deeper into something that is outside of yourself. So yeah, I'm going to challenge you this week. Learn something about somebody else. Learn something about somebody else. A closed mouth doesn't get fed. It's an old adage. There's no known source for it. I looked it up. Simple words, yet so very profound. Like, there's so much meaning here and so much to unpack. And just that little bitty statement, a closed mouth doesn't get fed or don't get fed, in my words. However, for the sake of time, I won't dive into all of that. Let's put a pin in it for season 2. But what I will say, if you're anything like me and struggled or still struggle with putting yourself out there and asking for help, whatever that looks like for you, let me encourage you here. Ask. Ask. If you don't ask, you'll never know. You'll never know how amazing the people are in your life, in your everyday life. You'll never know who'll be there for you in the times where everyone else leaves. You'll never know. You'll make others miss their blessings. That's deep, right? You didn't know by rejecting people that you can make people miss their blessings. People are putting your lives and put on your path just to bless you and also for them to get blessings themselves. Yeah, it's that deep. You'll never know. You'll never know. You'll make others miss their blessings because maybe they are simply there to help you. Yeah, yeah. That's a thing. That's a thing. The closed mouth don't get fed. Don't starve, friends. And with that, I'm ending this episode because I said I'm not going to go past like 22 minutes or something like that. Last week, I said that. I did. So, closed mouth don't get fed. What are you going to do this week to feed yourself, to bless others, to allow and give others the opportunity to bless you? If you're in a situation and you're like, oh, well, like me, I'd be in a situation, I'd be like, oh, nah, I'm good. No, don't do that. Take a step back, reevaluate the situation. And if it's something that somebody can do for you, let them do it. Let them do it. Be blessed by someone else and be a blessing to someone else. And that's all you got to do this week. So thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you. I love you. I'm here for you. I'm cheering for you. Whatever goals you set this week, this Friday, this Saturday, this Sunday, going into next week, you're going to rock it. I'm so excited to hear about it. Hit me up on Instagram and Facebook or Facebook. Let me know what goals you set this week. Let me know if you've taken a step back and let somebody else bless you this week. I just want nothing but the best for you. I'm praying for you. And this is Lori, aka Hypnotic, signing off. I'll see you next Friday. Hi, friends. I just want to thank you so much for listening. Please tune in every week on Friday to discover more tried and tested insider tips for getting better at life, love, and business. Until our next episode, you can connect with me on Instagram at Lemon Drops and Lap Dances. And please don't forget to leave a rating and subscribe to our show wherever you like to get your podcast. I'm going to see you next week. And this is Hypnotic saying goodbye for now.